regular monthly meeting for March 12, 2013. Please turn off or silence any cell phones. We appreciate that. Thank you. Also, please join us in a moment of reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, led by two of our own students from Northside Elementary School, Ethan Little and Micah Thurman. First of all, I want to pledge. Gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, when Mr. Walmore resigned, he had been elected chairman of the board, and at this time the chairmanship is vacant, and it would be appropriate for the board to reorganize itself. And so at this point in time, members of the board would be appropriate to make a motion second for a chairman to serve the lead board.
Mr. Gerald, I would like to make a motion that we elect Dr. Mary Ann Melnick as the chairman of the Houston County Board of Education for the remainder of this year, 2013.
Second.
Motion second. Any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor, motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And then that would leave a vacancy in the position for vice chair, and it would be appropriate to make nominations.
I'd like to nominate Mr. Fred Wilson for vice chair.
Motion second. Any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.
Come on down and join us. Okay, we're going to go ahead and have the pleasure of hearing from our principals and our students who have come to visit us this month. We're going to begin first with David A. Purdue Primary and Mr. Brian Trent. Would you please introduce your teacher of the year and your students?
Well, our teacher of the year actually retired, but we got the next best thing, which is Miss Bailey. Miss Bailey has been a teacher at Purdue for the last 6 years. She originally was in computer science and mathematics, but stayed at home with her kids and then decided to come where the money is and became a teacher. And she's a great one at that. She's one of our math cadre leaders. She's on our BST team. Has our inclusion class for the last 5 years, and just an excellent teacher and a valuable resource for our county. I also have two lovely ladies right here. We have Willie Anderson, which is in 2nd grade, and she is on the Prancing Pandas dance team. That's a mouthful. Say that 3 times. She's also on our safety patrol, which is kind of like our elite group, kind of like the Marines of the Pandas. And both of them are great students. And Whitley says that she either wants to be a nurse or a teacher one day when she grows up. And I also have Allison Griggs here, and she is also in 2nd grade and on the prancing dance team for the Pandas. All right, yeah, I'm gonna mess that one up. And she's also on our safety patrol, and she wants to be a pediatric dentist one day. And I asked her why. She said, well, that's where mom's the money is. But I think it's because she wants to touch hearts. And both of them are wonderful assets to the county. We're so proud of them to have her in our school, and just great girls to work with every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Morriside Elementary, Principal Jody Clark, our host school for our work session.
And I was up late last night. We're excited about being here today. My teacher of the year is Susan Raymond. Miss Raymond is our third grade grade chair. She's on Better Seeking Team. She has 29 and a half years experience. Looking forward to soon retiring, and if I can talk her out of it, I don't want her to. So she really kind of keeps us straight when we're meeting and on her grade level and meeting throughout the school. Her question is always, is this is what's best for the students? So we're excited. She's been a great representative, great role model for our school at Northside Elementary. Then I framed this on these two young men today, but we have Ethan Little, and Ethan is the son of Shay and Tammy Little, and I brought Ethan with me today because he is a fourth grader at our school, and he is involved with the FFA at Northside High School. He's already showing cows and feeding them. He doesn't live far from the farm, and so he's already out there involved in taking care of that. And works hard in the classroom, excels in the classroom, so Ethan was one of my choices for today. My next choice is Micah Thurman. He's the son of Hoy and Jill Thurman, and I brought Micah with me today because over the summer, Micah was involved with the Junior Olympic track and field out in Texas, and he was 24th in the nation in his race. So, and I found out today he's doing field events today. He pretty much plays everything, is involved in everything, all sports minded is Micah Thurman. And so but they are both great role models at our school. I called them up to y'all and said, you get to take a trip with me today. And they're like, okay. And then Miss Wilson shot them and said, your speech only has to be 5 minutes. And so they were really shocked at that. But we were glad to host y'all last night. Come back to Northside anytime.
Thank you. Warner Robins Middle School, Principal Brett Wallace. Please introduce your folks.
Yes, ma'am. We are very rested and proud to be here. We just want to let you know that there are 64 other outstanding teachers at our school and 782 other outstanding students, but I've brought the best that we have. First, we've got Mr. Caleb Humphrey. Turn around, look at him. He's an outstanding 8th grader who is typically dressed, you think I'm lying, he's typically dressed like this every day. He's far better dresser than I am. And he is an ambassador. He's a member of our man-to-man mentoring group and been successful, and looks forward to being successful in high school next year. We have Miss Annabelle Smith, who is very talented. Usually you'll see her dressed in a cheerleading uniform or sometimes an activity uniform from day to day. She's very talented and won Miss Warner Robins Middle School last year as a 6th grader. So we're fortunate that next year we'll have 3 Miss Warner Robins Middle Schools all in the building at one time. And we got Miss Charlotte Graham, who is an 8th grade language arts teacher. She's a team leader. She's a chairperson. She's Better Seeking Team. She has made it real easy for me to come in new. She's easy to work with, and she wants to improve everything that we do. And she's looking forward to seeing the 8th grade writing results that Jan Grace is keeping hidden from me right now. Get those. On a serious note, we want to let you guys know what is obvious, that we're thankful for many things in our school system, but our maintenance department is outstanding and did a great job. Cecil. And then in honor of Exceptional Children's Week last week and Board Appreciation Week next week, we Thank you.
Okay, Houston County Career Academy Principal Sabrina Phelps. Introduce your folks to us.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. We're also excited about being here. And we're going to thank Maintenance as well and Mary, because yesterday we didn't know what we were going to have for lunch. But we want to thank Fayetteville Middle School, so we did get a chance to have breakfast and lunch yesterday. With me today, I have Kwame Bolting. And Kwame is one of our full-time students. He has completed an engineering pathway, and his goal is to go to college to become an electrical engineer. Then we have Ms. Chelsea Armstrong, and Chelsea is a junior. I have to say Kwame is a senior at our school. Chelsea is a junior. She's in our healthcare pathway, and she wants to go on to college to become a registered nurse. And then we have Ms. Krista Lowe, and our program that has our teacher of the year, but she couldn't be with us today. Ms. Lowe is here, and Ms. Lowe has just been most recently named as the closest 2012-2013 state advisor of the year for the state of Georgia. So we're glad to have a celebrity here with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Would Ms. Jan Jacobson, our Director of Gifted, please come forward to introduce our oratorical winners?
Thank you so much. It is my pleasure to announce that annually we have an oratorical contest that took place here on January 31st. From the schools, we elect or select by a panel of judges 3 winners, first place, second place, third place. And then we ask them to come to a board member to recite. So we're going to go ahead and start with our third place winner. But before I tell you that, I'm going to just explain about the logistics over here. The children are used to working with a lapel mic. So we're going to attach this to them, and then they're going to do the same steps that they did at the actual contest. They're going to come up these stairs, they're going to stand here on the stage, and then after they're finished with their 2 minute speech, they'll come back down this way. They represent their schools, their families, our county, and we're just very happy to be able to showcase this piece of student achievement with all and share that with all of you. So our third place winner will start with Shirley Hills, our principal, Tracy Jackson, our coach, Laura Stanley, and our orator, Jessica Kelly.
Hi, my name is Jessica Danielle Kelly, and I was born on July the 11th, 2002. And that was the day I became the great communicator. My mom always tells me, Jessica, you talk too much. I tell her, talking can be a great thing. Somehow I would feel like my life would have one big chunk missing if I couldn't share my thoughts, my voice. The Bible states that the power of life and death lie in the tongue. So I want to use my voice to promote life. I want to use my voice to promote causes that impact our world for the good. I also plan to use my voice to advise my friends and persuade everyone to see the good in themselves and others. My voice is important because I can use it as an instrument to speak up or stand up for causes I believe in. When I grow up, I want to be a pediatrician. When I become one, I wish to speak at lots of important meetings. I can use my voice to bring to light important causes that impact children's lives. My voice is also important because I am very persuasive. One day I came home and saw my brother playing with matches. I told him he shouldn't do that because he could hurt himself, burn down the house, and maybe even houses around us. He didn't really want to listen, you know, brothers, but then I said the most persuasive thing of all. If you don't stop, I'm telling Mom and Dad. I use my voice to save our things, our house, our neighborhood. I can also help with problems. One time, my cousin Sydney started doubting herself, so I told her she is a wonderful girl. She makes me laugh, and she's also an amazing dancer. Then she started to feel better. On the dry erase board I have on my door, she wrote, "Jessica is a problem solver." In conclusion, did you hear? The room went silent. That's what happens when we, 1, don't realize the importance of our voices, and 2, don't use them to promote positive change. I really like my voice. It is very important to me. And my prayer is that as I have explained the power of my voice, I've helped to realize the power of your voice too.
Our second place winner is from Purdue Elementary. Sean Carpenter's principal. Our coach is Amy Floyd, and our orator is Rachel Michael. As Rachel's going on up to the stage, the name of our contest this year was "Why My Voice is Important."
For myself, for a long time. Maybe it felt a little inauthentic or something. I felt like my voice wasn't worth hearing. And I think everyone's voice is worth hearing. So if you've got something to say it from the rooftops. This is one of my favorite quotes by Tom Hiddleston. I felt this way for a long time, wanting to shout out to the world what's important to me, but I've kept those things in. And I believe now is my time to say it from the rooftops. I love animals. Cats, dogs, lizards, snakes, lions, horses, ferrets. I could go on and on and on. Something, though, is concerning me. More and more animals are disappearing every day. Dying is a part of life. I know that. But the way these animals are fading away is not the way God intended it to be. We're supposed to take care of these animals. And we aren't. Animals like the black-footed ferret, the Atlantic gray whale, the large sloth lemur, the Madagascan pygmy hippopotamus, and so many more animals are almost extinct. They may not be familiar to you, but these animals are essential to the world. I wish to help these animals by stopping unnecessary hunting and logging in forests and jungles. I also wish to stop unnecessary construction in animals' habitats. Just these few things could help so many animals. This is one of the most important quotes to me. It's said by Dr. Seuss. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Animals are really important to me. And I believe my voice is too. Thank you.
Our first place winner comes from King's Chapel, where Paula Tompkins is the principal, coach Amber Churcher, and our orator is Jackson Riddle.
Imagine not being able to express your thoughts or opinions. America has freedom of speech, but in other nations, your opinions could could get you in jail. People's voices matter. My voice matters. I'm going to share with you why my voice is important and can bring change in a positive way. My inner voice is what makes me, well, me. My words can bring change. For example, in 4-H, we have decided to collect pop tabs for the Ronald McDonald House. It helps families who have sick or injured kids whose parents can't afford a hotel near their child. So they come to the Ronald McDonald House. The RMH says nothing is more important than having your family with you when you are sick or injured. I am a part of 4-H because I hope it will teach me ways to be a giving person and have fun too. A career can also bring about change. If you're an author, you can write a novel about litter, cyberbullying, or even abuse. Harriet Beecher Stowe's novel, Uncle Tom's Cabin, has really inspired me. It helped more people figure out that slavery was wrong, and inspired more people to become abolitionists. It proves that authors can make a difference. I really want to be an author. Hey, wait a minute. I'm one right now. I authorized this speech in order to inspire you to bring change to the world. Do you know what else can bring about change? Acting. I would also like to be an actor. Maybe someday I can create a commercial about what I want to bring change to. Or I can direct a movie about, let's say, bullying. It would be geared to try and stop bullying. I feel like it would influence a lot of people. Our voices matter. My voice is important. Everyone's voice is important. I hope you have learned many ways our voices are important. Our voices are one of the things that make us unique. Our opinions may be similar or even different, but it's what makes me, me, and I like who I am.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion that we adopt the agenda that's before us with one added item, a land matter item that was discussed on last evening.
The motion was made by Mr. Wilson and seconded by Ms. Hughes to adopt the agenda as presented with one additional item, a land matter item. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. The motion passes 6-0. Mr. Wilson?
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes from the previous meeting, which was February 2013.
The motion was made by Mr. Wilson, seconded by Mr. Maddox. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. Financial reports, Mr. Dawkins.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the February financial report as presented last evening. Second.
Motion made by Mr. Dawkins, seconded by Mr. McMahon. In reference to the financial reports, any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. We're going to back up and go back to number 8 for board member comments. And we'll pick up with the agenda comments and superintendent's report? Okay, who wants to volunteer first? Ms. Maddox? Mr. Dodd was just volunteering.
Hello, everyone. Glad y'all are here today. I'll try to be quick. I have a few things I want to say. First of all, Ms. Clark, thank you. We do apologize for keeping you so late last night. Your staff did a great job, and we thank you for that. I guess if you watched the news this morning, one of the main thing that was on the news is obviously not happening here, but it's happening in Rome. I'm wondering if it's coincidence that today we're selecting a new board member while folks in Rome are selecting a new pope. I didn't mean that to be a joke. I apologize. Just a quick little note. This past summer, my family had the awesome opportunity to visit Rome and visit the Vatican. And the Holy Chapel and the Sistine Chapel, it was incredible. I mean, it made this old Baptist boy think, wow, this is something else. But anyway, in regard to our selecting a new board member, we were very fortunate to have 5 very nice, very qualified candidates. I want to tell all of you that I appreciate your putting your name out there to serve. It's always a hard decision. It was for me, and I'm sure it was for everybody else behind this table. So obviously we can't pick but one person, but for the 4 that are not selected, thank you very much for putting your name out there. You're obviously very dedicated to our community, and you're serving, and you will continue to serve, I'm sure. So I just wanted to throw that out there. One of the things we did last night when we talked to our candidates was we talked about the strengths and the weaknesses of our system to get their idea. Well, I want to tell you a couple of mine. First of all, on the strength side is our people, and more specifically, I want to just mention a couple of quick little things. Today or yesterday, we were given a report on legal fees, attorney fees, for a number of counties that we're compared to. It was pretty eye-opening. I had to do a little math and play with it a little bit, and there were 19 other systems that were listed on the chart. And I just wanted to tell y'all that one of our responsibilities is to be good stewards of the money. And just so you'll know, of those 19 systems, the enrollment varied from about 13,000 to 91 or 97,000, I guess, students. We have about 28,000. So obviously our expenses should be less than the big ones, but more than the small ones. Just so you know, the average annual legal expenses per this report were $905,000. Our expenses average $75,000. That's $905,000 versus $75,000. We had a 3-year total of $277,000, whereas the average was $2.7 million of attorney. Why is our number so low? I think it's one of our strengths. We have 2 people who are responsible for that, in my opinion, and they're both sitting to the left of Ms. Hughes. Excuse me, the right of Ms. Hughes. We're very fortunate to have Billy Gerald as our attorney and Dr. Hines as our superintendent. They do a lot of things, y'all, to keep us out of trouble. And I'm sure if you ask either one of them why those fees are so low, they would say the other, but it's both of them. And I just wanted to mention that, and I thank y'all for that. The second thing I wanted to talk about, I told you our people talked last night about strengths and weaknesses. Another strength that we have, obviously, is our teachers. And if anybody here doesn't believe that, and doesn't think that we believe that, then they're just wrong. But if I'm talking about teachers and weakness, where am I going with this? I can see this look on all your faces. Another report that we saw this week was a report of the, let me try the title right, the MetLife Annual Survey of American Teachers. I read that, and I was a little bit shocked at some of what I saw. And those of you, I think some of you on the front row have seen this, so they're kind of shaking their head at me, maybe. And a couple of points jumped out at me, and this is a survey of teachers nationwide, and I don't know if any of our teachers took part in this survey, I don't know that. But it gave some really significant points and things that really kind of surprised me. And some of the findings of this, for principals, it said 75% that feel that their job has become too complex. Now, there's a number of principals in this room, and I don't want anybody to say anything, but that's what the finding was. 75% feel their job has become too complex. Okay? Job satisfaction among principals has dropped 9 points since 2008. Now, 59% of principals are very satisfied, down from 68% only 5 years ago. And 48% of principals feel under great stress at least several days a week. Okay? For teachers, the numbers, to me, are worse. This said, teacher satisfaction has declined 23 points since 2008. Let that soak in for a minute. To me, that's just staggering. Only 39% of teachers are very satisfied. That's the lowest level in 25 years of this survey. And 51% of our teachers felt great stress several days a week. I really don't mean to be a downer, and I don't want to be a downer. I bring this up because some of us have heard these same kinds of numbers or rumblings from our system. And y'all, our teachers are our greatest strength. We have got to, all of us, and the people on this front row, have got to dedicate ourselves to how do we change these numbers. Now, I'm not saying that teacher satisfaction is only 39% in Hamilton County. I hope it's higher. I truly hope it's higher. But I feel like this just told me, Jim Maddox, what are you doing to make sure that this isn't the case in our county? You know, there are so many things, and you teachers, y'all know better than I can't tell you because you know. So many things get put on you. Some by the state, some by the federal government, some by us, some by society, some by all kinds of things. And we understand that, and I don't think anybody's at fault, any one person. But I just want you teachers in here to know that this means something to me. And I don't know what I can do to help, but I'm going to do what I can. Because I don't want teachers retiring because they're under stress 3 times a week. I have stress in my job, I own my own business, and that's stress. But I chose that, and I'm the boss, so I can do what I want to do. But now I don't want that to be your case. I mean, I don't want teachers retiring because they're just under such great stress. So I think what I want to do from now on is when we do things that affect our teachers, we need to figure out, is it for the good of our kids or not? What's it going to do to our teacher satisfaction? And are we shooting ourselves? I mean, some things we can't change when things come from other places, state and federal, but let's make sure we don't compound it by doing things that make it even worse. So I appreciate our teachers, and I'm glad all y'all are here, and that's my thing.
Thank you. Mr. Dawkins.
Oh. First off, Jody, thank you. We're sorry we kept you up so late, but 9 o'clock, I was in the twilight, so I tell you that much right up front. I could have been dead long. I want to thank my fellow board members for wishing me, and Jim, you might want to go into this too, wishing Jim and I had a birthday yesterday. Jim's just a child, and I'm an old man. As a result of it, but anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for the card, for happy birthday tomorrow. I want to say one thing about Warner Robins Middle School. And Caleb, I want you to stand up and turn around and I want everybody to see you, okay? Helen and I had the opportunity to go to Warner Robins Middle School. And Caleb was there at the front door of the meeting. And you will never know what an impression this young man made on everything. And like Jim said, this young man here's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Caleb, thank you so much. He followed Helen and I around all over school. I know he was tired of it. He followed us all the way around school, introduced us to his teachers, introduced us to some of the members of the organization, and we were just, Kel, we were very impressed with you. I just wanted to recognize you. You sit down. I've heard other renditions of this organization that they have started in Warner Robins Middle School, and take my word for it, you will never know the success that these young people present to themselves, okay? Nobody just walks in the door and becomes a part of Caleb's organization. You have to live up to the standard. And I think that says a lot, not only for Caleb, but for the teachers and for the principal at that school. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing this to happen and giving these young people this opportunity. It just makes a lot of difference. And that's just not one school. We had the opportunity to go to the Gold Dome, and contrary to popular belief, not all of the baboons are in the Gold Dome. They're all there. But we did have opportunity to visit with our representatives and our senators, and they pointed out a program, and Dr. Hall said, stand up, Tim, pointed out her leadership program. And what a great thing they thought that the leadership program was. This is elementary kids determining what they want to do and what they want to be and what their responsibility is as far as the school. Thank you, Kim, very much. Those things don't just happen, folks. It's the dedication of our teachers. I go back to Tim's speech, except I'm not going to give his whole speech. But anyway, we appreciate so much what you folks do. What we do is very little. What you do is a whole lot. And Heather and I are going to finish up our visits to the schools at the end of March, and we're looking forward to it. We love it. You can't imagine how entertaining it is and how much it means to us to go out and see what our schools do. It just, folks, you can't ever, every time we get through, we always talk about, man, that's unbelievable. Can you believe they're doing it? And that's you. That's you. I don't know who brought the gifts, but thank you so much. We don't do that for the gifts. I hope y'all know that. The members don't do it for the money. But we do it for the kids, okay? Because that's what the name of the game is. It's the kids and how successful they are. There's a lot of systems in this state right now that's under a lot of pressure because people don't feel like they're doing their job. I hope each one of you in this room as a teacher know that if you ever feel like that I'm not doing my job, pick up the phone and call me, please. And if you don't know my number, if you know my email address, email me and I'll send you my telephone number. And never be afraid to call us and tell us how you feel or tell us what you think is going on that needs to be changed. That's what we're here for, okay? God bless you, everyone. You're doing great
it is hard to impact a student or change a student's lives in this day and time. But there are so many countless stories of students' lives that have been changed by teachers who have not only taught them academically, but they've motivated them, they've encouraged them, they've inspired them, they've challenged them to go that extra mile and to be the best person that they can be. So I guess I'm kind of like Sam I Am, and Green Eggs and Ham. All of us remember that story. And I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. And it's kind of like that way about change. I do not like change. I do not like change here, there. I do not like it there. I do not like it anywhere. And then all of a sudden I realized I really need to learn to embrace change and accept change and to move forward with the opportunities that change actually presents to me on a personal level, a school level, a board level, community level, and in all aspects of life. So I'm a work in process, but what's my best for today?
Thank you, Mr. McMahon.
I won't be as long as Mr. Maddox, but I do agree with what you said. Last night, Mr. Scott made a comment that the university system, state of Georgia, graduated 8 students in physics and chemistry, if I heard you correctly. 8, okay, so 10 students statewide. So Judge Clark at Northside Elementary is starting STEM at the elementary level, so that's a good thing. Maybe can grow that number for more than 10. Okay, that's pretty good. And 17th is St. Patrick's Day next week. I'm a McMahon. My dad married a McDonald. So somewhere in there, Scotch Irish, I'm not sure, but I'll leave you with the Irish blessing of may the road rise up to meet you, may the wind always be at your back, may the sun shine upon your face, may the rain fall softly on your fields. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, just a quick comment again to Northside. Thank you all for your hospitality last night. Everything was great. Also, the students that were up here today, you guys are a great example in what will be tomorrow, next year, and the next year. And the students that I was a judge in several competitions this past month, you all are upcoming students that will be judging with your speech competitions. So I want to say to you all, keep practicing, keep doing what you're doing, and keep following the leadership of your school, your teachers, and everybody. You're doing a great job, and of course your parents. So you guys did a great job, and I look forward to being a judge on some of your competition in high school, middle school, and even at the college level. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. And I want to thank all of the schools, all of our schools, as well as our central office staff participated in the teacher job fair this last week. Fantastic, professional in every way. I mean, you guys had it all set up there. You had your staff there, and you were welcoming potential teachers to your room there, interviewing them and things like that. So again, so many people, over 700 people came wanting to come to Houston County to teach. That says something about what you all are doing, the leadership, Dr. Hines, board, and all that. So again, thank you all for what you all did. And then the one that really stuck out. And again, I'm going to put her on the spot and say, Dr. Halstead, I was really impressed with you and your staff and your students are part of that interview process. That was great. You're teaching them at an early age. It's never too early to teach students. So thank you for giving them that kind of leadership and letting them participate on hiring teachers that will teach their children. So again, thank you for that. And again, congratulations, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Vice Chair. Appreciate it. Speaking about the article that Mr. Maddox is talking about, Mr. Dawkins is the one who forwarded it to me, I believe, and I pushed it out to everybody. And the statistics were shocking in that report. And I'm just going to reiterate what Mr. Maddox and probably all board members already feel, that we are here to support our teachers and our principals and our schoolhouses. That it's very important that you guys know that we're there for you, and we want you all to know that. thanks to Northside Elementary last night for their hospitality. Everything was wonderful. And thanks again for staying there with us. It wasn't too bad, it wasn't too late, but we appreciate that. Also, on March 5th, as Mr. Dawkins has already indicated, we visited the Capitol to meet with our legislative representatives. They appeared to be receptive this go-around, and I have to say it was probably a more positive meeting than we've had lately. So we were kind of glad we all went and talked with them. Congratulations to our Sharks. I'll tell you, that was a hard-fought win, but it was a great victory. It was exciting. They really fought hard. We appreciate them participating in that state win and bringing it back home to Houston County. Also, this past Saturday, I was a participant in the 5K run that was organized by Faganville Middle School for Amy Smith, one of our school psychologists. What an uplifting and enjoyable event. There had to be 300 or more people that participated, and the majority were educators from our system, our teachers, and students giving their time to support our school psychologist, Ms. Amy Smith. And then after the 5K run, some of us that were there at the 5K ran over to the truck pole. And we enjoyed watching the competition between teams from different community organizations and our schools. And I read that the donations could reach $10,000. That's outstanding. And after, of course, we deduct costs and the net proceeds, this will all go to benefit special Olympics. What a great community we live in, and how wonderful it is to see our educators and students unselfishly participating in events such as these. A great weekend in Houston County. Good luck to our students and staffs as we get ready to go into the testing season. It's right around the corner, and everybody please enjoy your spring break. Dr. Holmes.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Melnick. I'll take a minute and talk about that survey that was sent out. Mr. Dawkins, it was interesting reading, and I do believe that education and teaching and being a principal is a much different thing than it used to be. Back in the good old days, all you had to do was manage the building, and everybody stayed out of trouble. Everything was copacetic. But then came the dawn of accountability, and then all of a sudden it came about producing. Right, Tracy? I know that Tracy Jackson there, she keeps a healthy level of concern in her building. People work hard, and the results show it, and these type of things. And then on the back end of that, then all these things like austerity reductions begin to happen. In our school system, in the last 10 years, has been over $188 million. There'll be another $21 million just next year. And back in the good old days, there was so much support and everything everywhere. It was almost like you could throw something against the wall and it stuck and it'd be good. We've had to be much more focused and do more with less as we move forward. I think everybody recognizes that. But we say all the time that we have the greatest principals anywhere. There's absolutely no question. We have the best trained, best principals anywhere. And without a doubt, we have the best teachers anywhere. And the results speak for themselves. It's a tough job out there. But at the same time, there is no more noble profession than the one of education. And I'm grateful to be in the boat with the ones that we've got right now. Because all you have to do is look around us and think, would you rather be there? Would you rather be here? And I think if we gave that same survey to our people, it's going to look a whole lot different than that. Every time we put together an initiative or something that's going on, or basically it's not like we're putting initiatives together, we're trying to deal with what's coming down the pipe. CCRPI, how we're going to deal with that. How we're going to deal with the Common Core. What are all these things that we're doing? And with our teaching and learning department, would y'all just stand up real quick? Just recognize him. Just say, how about teaching and learning? Come on now. They do a great job, and they are a small bunch, and they work hard to take an awful lot out of our teachers, And as we go through, and we go through these things like RTI and everything, they're in there all the time working on how do we get a bank of interventions ready so that the teachers don't have to go and find those things. when we're working on the Common Core, they're working hard to put things together so they are able to go and work and have those units at their hands, the pacing guys and all these things that a lot of people don't do. Our people do it. I want y'all to know that I appreciate that and for what you're doing for our teachers. They are the best anywhere, and we have the best school system anywhere, and I say it all the time, and it starts right up here with our board and flows through, and it's very much appreciated. And one thing that Dr. Scott and I were talking about the other day, what is some evidence of that? Well, about 750 people showed up at the job fair wanting to be here. They want to be here. And there's a reason for that. It's because this is an outstanding organization, and I just want everybody to know I appreciate what you do, and you know, you're either in the classroom teaching, having that relationship with the students, and if you work for us in any other area, we're there to support that task. And that's just the bottom line. That's what we're doing. But we appreciate that. And on the job fair, Dr. Brown, we appreciate your work with the job fair, making it happen. And you know, you and your staff, it was absolutely outstanding. What a great facility and a great impression for our people. I want to thank Dr. Scott and the Human Resources Department for that. It was a resounding success, and I appreciate you so very much. I want to say, way to go to the Sharks once again. I watched them on TV twice. It was really good. It was tight down there, and I'm going to tell you what, Joshua Billingsley must have gotten every rebound in the second half or in that last period. I mean, he just got it. Just did a super job. We'll appreciate that. They had a perfect season. It was culminated with a 24-21 win over West Georgia in the wheelchair basketball championship. We're proud of the Sharks and the program. They have become the dominant program in all sports in that league, and we are grateful for that. Speaking of Shirley Hills Elementary School, congratulations again. We do this all the time with Shirley Hills on winning first place in the poster presenter competition at the National Youth at Risk Conference last week. Shirley Hills was named the winner out of 53 entries from all over the United States, and we are proud of their success. Kudos to Principal Jackson and her team. Stand up, Tracy. It seems like he's like, oh, let's recognize Tracy. But she's very quick to say, it's not about her, it's about those wonderful teachers and students that she has at her school, and I know that's right. Congratulations on Northside High School for earning industry certification for early childhood. It's the latest in our pursuit of industry certification for all of our career tech programs. This certification is a stamp of approval by businesses, and we're proud of Northside and all of our schools that have earned this certification. And Dr. Wall, I believe you said that we're doing our ag programs next year, so we're looking forward to that. Appreciate your work with that. High schools are prepared to give the Georgia High School graduation test. The students will test March 18th through the 22nd. And the elementary schools are also testing. The third grade writing evaluation is March 18th through the 29th. Today is Paraprofessional Appreciation Day, and we appreciate our parapros, I can promise you that. And March is Exceptional Children's Month and Social Workers Month. Now, we have some of my favorite people, our social workers. Y'all stand up. Let's recognize our social workers. And their supervisor, Shirley Randall. Stand up, Shirley. That's not all of them, but it's almost all of them. And I say that to say this. The job they do and the workload they do is absolutely incredible. Y'all know how much I love y'all and how I feel about you. I mean, they're mamas, they're daddies, they're caretakers, they're attendance people, they go to court, helps out, they do everything, and they do it with a smile on their face, and they do it great. And we appreciate you all so very much. Next week is School Board Appreciation Week. And our board members, as you can see, are passionate about providing the best education possible for our students. And I want to thank our board for their service. I have a small token, a certificate for your of our appreciation for you. Dr. Mary Ann Melton. Give it up for Dr. Skip Dawkins. said 17 years? 17 years on the board, 17 years. 17 years on the board, Mr. Fred Wilson. Helen Hughes, sometimes it feels like 17 years. Jim Maddox. The birthday boy. And he's older than I am, by a couple of months. And 2 months on the board, Mr. David Mann. Got something else. This is our coin and military tradition. He's not received one yet. We appreciate you, Super David. All right, y'all give it up for all of us. And believe it or not, that's about it. Thank you all for being there. Here.
Let's get back to the agenda. I believe we're on personnel reports. Ms. Hughes.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the personnel reports that were presented at last evening's work session for March 2013.
The motion was presented by Ms. Helen Hughes, seconded by Mr. Jim Maddox, to approve the personnel report as presented. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. At this time, Ms. Hughes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the administrative contract recommendations for the school year 2013-14 that were presented last evening.
Second.
Motion was made by Ms. Hughes, seconded by Mr. Dawkins, to approve the administrative contract recommendations for school year 2013-14. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. 6-0. At this particular time, I need to defer the gavel to Mr. Wilson, and I need to accuse myself of the next recommendation.
I need a motion on the last admin item for one administrator for this next school year.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve the administrative contract for Mr. Jan Melnick for the 2013-14 school year.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the contract for the next school year for Mr. Jan Melnick, Ms. Helen Hughes. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. The motion passes 5-0 with recusal. No.
Thank you. Mr. Maddox.
Yes, ma'am. Is this item C?
Yes, sir.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the request of Flint Electric to
I'm
install.
sorry, sir. The position of the
Excuse me.
Sorry.
I apologize. I'm out of order today. Yes. Madam Chairman, I'd like to recommend that we accept the superintendent's recommendation, make a motion that we accept the superintendent's recommendation of Ms. Cindy Fletcher for the position of assistant superintendent for operations.
Second.
I have a motion by Mr. Maddox, seconded by Mr. McMahon, to approve the superintendent's recommendation for Ms. Cindy Fletcher to serve as assistant superintendent of school operations. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. On to new business. Item A under 13, new business. Ms. Hughes.
Yes, Mr. Maddox already alluded that we had 5 equally qualified individuals who stepped up to serve for either replacement board member for District 5.
Second.
The motion was made by Ms. Hughes, seconded by Mr. McMahon, to appoint Mr. Rick Unruh as the board member to post 1. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. Mr. Wilson.
Yes, Madam Chair, I make a motion that we name the new elementary school on Langston Road as Langston Road Elementary School.
Second.
The motion was made by Mr. Wilson, seconded by Mr. Dawkins, to name the new elementary, number 11, Langston Road Elementary School. Any discussions? All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. Mr. Max.
Yes, ma'am. Now I'd like to make a motion that we recommend that we make a motion to accept the request of Flint Energy to install new underground electric lines at McDonald Talbot to give them an easement for that.
Second.
The motion was made by Mr. Maddox, seconded by Ms. Hughes, to request from Flint the right-of-way easement. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. 6-0. Motion passes. Mr. McMahon.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the amendment number 9, GMP approval for the Secure Vegetables Phase 2 at a price of $794,846. That includes 14 schools.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. McMahon, seconded by Mr. Dawkins, to approve the secured vestibule upgrades Phase 2. Any discussion?
Just a comment, Madam Chairman. Just so everyone will know, the point of spending this money is to make our schools safer, and I think we all appreciate that. And I appreciate the work that Jason and his group have done to come up with plans, schedule to get that.
All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. 6-0, the motion passes. Mr. Maddox.
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the recommendation to purchase 830 smart SDC 330 document cameras for our classrooms at a financial impact of $377,650.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Maddox, seconded by Mr. McMahon, to approve the purchase of 830 smart SDC 330 document cameras for our classrooms. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. Mr. Dawkins.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the superintendent's recommendation in the replacement of our existing computers in our computer lab at the cost of $1,704,570.20.
Motion was made by Mr. Dawkins, seconded by Ms. Hughes, to approve the purchase of 2,420 desktop computers and Microsoft Office 2010 licenses. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. Mr. Maddox.
Yes, ma'am. What is a computer without a monitor? So I'd like to make a recommendation that we approve the purchase of 2,420 22-inch desktop monitors for these computers at a financial impact of $271,040.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Maddox, seconded by Mr. Dawkins, to approve the purchase of 2,420 desktop 22-inch monitors. Any discussion?
Yes, I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
These last three items on the agenda that we are voting on are just another example of how Houston County is upgrading and keeping up with technology and things like that. When these come in, of course, they will be installed there. And so we want the teachers, the students, and administrators to know that we're doing everything we can to make sure that Houston County stays on the leading edge of technology. So again, I think these are great purchases that you're making, a great investment for these students here and the rest of them that are out there in our schools. Thank you all.
And Madam Chair, my comment also, for everyone to make sure we know this is all SPOS money. It's over $2 million. And I want to thank Ms. Lunsford, and Mr. Thuglin, and the group. We're told last night that all three of these prices come in under what we had budgeted. So thank you all for saving as much money as you could. Thank you.
All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. The motion passes 6-0. Mr. Wilson.
Yes, Madam Chair, it gives me great pleasure to make this motion here because Mr. Dawkins has represented our school and represented GSBA as a District 12 representative for the past 4 years. So again, it gives me great pleasure to nominate Mr. Dawkins as the District 12 Director. And we of course want him to get that position, but I make a nomination for District 12 Director for Mr. Dawkins.
The motion was made by Mr. Wilson, seconded by Mr. McMahon to approve the nomination and give our blessing to Mr. Dawkins as District Director of the GSBA for District 12. Any discussion?
Madam Chairman, just for personal preference, I want to thank you folks for doing this. We have come through this one time before, and I was elected, and it's your support that really made the difference, okay? Some of our board of directors come with no, I guess you could say, no backing whatsoever from the local board, and I really appreciate that. I have every opportunity I have, I brag about it or him. I just want y'all to know that. And I hope y'all understand that this board is not just a board, it's a sort of like family. Now don't get me wrong, we fuss at each other every once in a while. We stomp our feet and this kind of stuff. But when we come out as a board. And it's a great pleasure to be a part of this board, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Wilson, for the nomination.
Well,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
you're welcome. All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. Mr. McMahon.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the superintendent to renew the contracts with AT&T, Unite, and Windstream for voice over IP, Centrex service, and long distance service.
Second.
The motion was made by Mr. McMahon, seconded by Mr. Wilson to approve the contracts with AT&T, Unite, and Windstream for voice over IP, Centric service, and long-distance service. Any discussion?
Madam Chairman, would you please let the record show that I abstained from this vote because of my connection with Windstream Corporation?
Yes, sir. The record be, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 5-0. Item J, Mr. Dawkins.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve superintendent's recommendation for the FY 2013 E-rate funding application approval. Now, Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that will equate to $1,279,000.
That's the expenditure that is incurred. Hopefully, we will receive $921,000 to offset those expenditures.
So the services is $1,279,016.80. We hope to gain $921,046.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Dawkins, seconded by Mr. Maddox to approve the fiscal 2013 E-rate funding application. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. Ms. Hughes?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the recommendation for the revision of the executive cabinet job description as presented.
Second.
The motion was made by Ms. Hughes, seconded by Mr. Dawkins to approve the executive cabinet job description change. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. Mr. McMahon?
Yes, land matters. I'd like to make a motion that we authorize Mr. Billy Gerald to be our agent and negotiate for the land at the price that was discussed at the executive session last night.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. McMahon, seconded by Mr. Maddox to approve Mr. Gerald as the agent to represent us in the land matter that we discussed last night. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0. At this time, we would normally go into executive session. I don't believe we have a...
Mr. Harris, Ms. Riggins. It's my understanding that their counselor was sick, and so this will be rescheduled until your next meeting.
Okay, let the record show. Therefore, I believe we have one other student matter that we need to go ahead and make a motion on.
Okay, yes, I'd like to make a motion with student LD, that the,
Tribunal decision.
that tribunal decision, thank you, Bill Blunt, that the tribunal decision be upheld with the exception that he can ride the bus in a specified seat.
Second.
Motion was made by Mr. McMahon, seconded by Mr. Maddox, that the tribunal appeal for student LB Jr., that we give the student the opportunity to ride the bus to Crossroads Center in an assigned seat. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0.